So basically, electric cooperatives abide by the 7 cooperative principles. One of those principles is cooperation among cooperatives. Another principle is independence and autonomy. So in Ohio, every electric cooperative is totally independent, totally autonomous, totally in charge of their own operations for a distribution area. The 24 cooperatives in Ohio banded together, formed a cooperative called Buckeye Power. And so all the co-ops in Ohio own their members of Buckeye Power. So when we have a member here at Logan County out in their home who's a member of our co-op, and because they're a member of our co-op and we're a member of Buckeye Power, they actually are a part owner of Buckeye Power. And so all of the extra revenue, the margins that Buckeye Power generates, goes all the way back down to our person in the resident's home. And so Buckeye Power is not like an umbrella organization that we all are part of. It's sort of like it's a cooperative that we're all co-owners of, and a cooperative among cooperatives. And then so all the general managers serve as a board member on Buckeye Power. And so just like we have board members here elected by our local people in Logan County to serve on our local board, we then serve on the Buckeye Power Board, and we establish the strategic direction and how it functions, and then hire the people to make it happen. One of the principles is commitment to community. And so a cooperative as a business model needs to actually take out of the revenues it receives from our members, think of ways of how can those revenues be used, not just to pay the actual costs, but to actually build up the community we live in. That's our core business model, our core principles. So in this case here for Logan County, what we do is we actually participate in economic development grants. We work with the Chamber of Commerce. We work in trying to make incentives for businesses to come into the community. I mean, currently right now, we and Logan County Electric Cooperative just found this out a few months ago, was one of only 3 sites in Ohio, have one of the only 3 sites in Ohio that Site Ohio is actually going to be saying this is a prime site for future businesses to be promoted to. And so we've received a $15,000 grant to help prepare that site to help bring business in, because when you bring business in, that brings jobs in. When you bring jobs in, and they live in homes, and they spend money in the local community, and it just helps, and the tax base goes up, and it just helps the entire community. So electric cooperatives are very focused on economic development within the communities. As part of our commitment to the community, there are our cooperative principles. A key cooperative principle that I think is spoken of but is not always implemented well is education and training. I think it was Thomas Jefferson who said regarding democracy, of which that's also a principle of a cooperative, is a democratic governance. But Thomas Jefferson made a comment. He said, if the people themselves are not educated about the issues, democracy will fail. Democracy depends upon people being educated, being informed, making knowledgeable decisions as a people. When that goes away, democracy falls. And so in the case of electric cooperatives, that's one of our core principles, is democratic member control. And so in order to do that, we have to have our membership be aware, and actually part of this presentation here will be used to help our members at Logan County Electric Cooperative understand better the cooperative they're part of. And then as we work at educating them, helping them understand how a cooperative works, helping them understand the 7 principles we live by, helping them understand the values we embrace, the values of integrity, innovation, accountability, and community. Helping them understand that the critical nature of servant leadership. We are here to serve them. And people say, well, why aren't you just like a charity, or what, you're not an electric company, what are you doing helping food pantries and things like that? We have an Operation Roundup program here, which we help take the money that's rounded up from our members' bills. We take that and invest it back into the community through grants. And they say, well, why do you do that? It's because that's what we're here for. That's part of our business model. if our members are not educated well, to understand that, they're going to be saying, why are they doing these things, rather than saying, why are we doing these things? Right. And so education and training, I really feel, is one of our core principles that here at Logan County Electric Cooperative, we're working very, very hard to implement. You know, for example, education, it doesn't go just to those who consume electricity. We go into the schools. We go into the schools, and we actually, like for example, we had an Ethiopian game we developed, which we did with about 140 fifth and sixth graders for 2 solid weeks. And what we did is we challenged them. Here's the country of Ethiopia. Here are the resources, mineral resources and stuff like that. Here are the needs of the people. They need electricity. How do you get it to them? And we let the students determine ways to tap hydropower, to tap bio out of the swamps. They came up with very creative solutions that they and then they actually then interacted with people in Ethiopia through a Skype and situation video conference that was over there, and talking about how can they do this. See, that's part of education, of saying we need to take what we have not just to our community, but our community is broader than just Logan County, Ohio. It actually is the world. Part of the education is to help our members here at Logan County understand that next March, 2 of our linemen from Logan County, Ohio, will spend the entire month in Guatemala, helping to, for the very first time, bring power to a village that has never had power ever in its existence. And it will be helping them understand that part of what you are doing here at Logan County as a member here, paying your electric bill, is actually helping to provide power to people who have never had it in Guatemala. So the education and training to help our members understand we are here for a broader purpose. And that's a key value, one of our principles. Is that we provide 2 kinds of power. We provide the power of physical connections, wires to transformers to house meters to house service panels, the same physical connections that electricity passes through. And investor owns do it just as well. Well, we probably do a little bit better than they do, more quality control. But it's a similar thing, very similar. Power of physical connections. But what cooperatives focus on the second kind of power, that's the power of human connections. That is a core component of what a cooperative is all about. It's about the people, not the profit. And so in the electric cooperative industry, we focus on both. You have the associative aspect, the social aspect, the associative aspect, that we put just as much priority on making sure that is functioning well as we do for the operational side, and making sure the physical connections and the outage restorals, whenever that happens, happens very effectively. So we focus on 2 kinds of power.